Welcome, welcome. 4 steps how to detach from someone you love the most. Try detachment if attachment isn't working. Not sure who said that, but hey, detachment is key whether you want to stay in your relationship without chasing, breaking things off with an avoidant, emotionally unavailable partner, or finally you want to move on from your ex perhaps. And this isn't just about, romantic relationships only. You can apply this to any concept, to friendships, colleagues, and life situations in general. Disclaimer, I'm not a therapist or doctor. This content is for informational and entertainment purposes only. It's not intended to diagnose, treat, or heal any mental health condition. If you're in an abusive relationship or dealing with severe mental health challenges, always seek professional advice. I used to think the more you are attached to someone, the more it means you really care about this person. But I was kind of wrong. What I thought was love was actually more anxiety. When I'm talking about when you can't make a decision without your partner as input, or you change your mind based on their decision or their comment. Let's say you get dressed up and your partner is asking you, oh, are you sure you want to wear this? And then you get actually changed just because of someone else's opinion. Or when you spend hours of fantasizing about your future together instead of actually building it and working actively on it. Or when you're constantly monitoring their mood, their actions, and their step, just in case maybe they are changing their mind about you, maybe they're, there's something off, and subconsciously you're always on the watch out of like, what if today's the day they're not that into you anymore? But this is not love. It's kind of a trauma response. It's a trauma response wrapped up in a nice bow, in a nice romantic packaging. And by the end of this episode, I guarantee you will know exactly what to do, how to detach emotionally in 4 steps only. Plus, stick around for the end because I want to share with you my secret fast track to detachment. It's really like a way to work with your subconscious mind to make the most out of your healing journey, even though there's no fast track in healing, but this is really a method how to detach emotionally faster from what you actually want. By the way, hi, I'm Yula. Welcome to the Anxious to Secure podcast. As I always say, I've spent like 30 plus years obsessing in my relationships. I was too attached. I was unable to take my power back because when we don't detach, we give the thing or the person, let's say our partner or our ex or the thing we really want the most, all the power. So when they have a bad moment, you have a bad moment. When they break up with you, you feel unlovable and unworthy and you're spinning and spiraling and obsessing over what you've done wrong. And then even when a friend or loved one passes away, the entire, world stops spinning. You kind of can't breathe. You can't function. You're kind of starving without them. I sat down and figured out why detachment is so powerful, how I managed to detach relatively fast, because detachment was a huge part of my anxious to secure healing journey. And to give you really the most powerful lessons, I've gone back through my journaling notes, through past memories of my, 30 years in being in relationships and friendships and of my upbringing, in my one-on-one client conversations, endless YouTube videos, and comments to figure out what are they saying, what are they struggling with the most, what have they tried to really give you the most value today, and to give you a step-by-step guide on what you can do to detach. And as Buddha is saying, no, he's not saying it anymore, but as Buddha used to say, attachment is the root of all suffering. We suffer because we crave and cling and attach to things or people, expecting them to bring us our lasting happiness. But again, it's ours, it's not theirs, right? Just with our partners, we think they are our entire world and they are supposed to make us feel secure and loved and valued and seen and secure. But detached love is on the other hand, is loving, but without trying to possess or control the outcomes and the things you can't control. True love allows freedom, not fear-based attachment. And the truth is, when you let go, you attract everything and more. That's kind of the tricky part about this. And you find your inner peace and you learn to be in control of your emotions again. Are you ready for the 4 steps to emotionally detach from things, to your partner, from people? And also, by the way, this also heals your anxious attachment. One, understand why you are attached and understand all the reasons behind it. Reason one why you can't detach from your partner or from this person is because you've put them on this pedestal. You're looking up to them. You've turned this average person, because we're all on the same level, but you put them on this pedestal like it's this hero, this fantasy. This happens when you're highly romantic, who's more addicted to the idea of love rather than the actual person. So you've developed this belief at some point when you were growing up that you're not okay, but others are. This means you have very low self-esteem and it's unworthiness wound, and you believe others are better or prettier or smarter, or they have everything and you don't, and you look up to them. Reason number two is you have a negative bias. We all have that, but this really is another reason why you attach and cling so strongly to this person, to this thing. So your brain is playing tricks on you. All you can see is their good traits. Meanwhile, the red flags, the value mismatches, the things they don't do for you or don't show up in the way you really need them to, your brain completely ignores. After my breakup, I remember my brain only showed me the good parts of my relationship. And I suddenly remember all of these happy moments that made me question everything, that made me show up, okay, I'm this terrible person now for breaking up, and especially how I ended things. And it really created this shame and guilt spiral for how I ended things and made me question, should I have really ended things? And I forgot about about the reasons why things really haven't worked out as well, and why we were also unhappy and we're arguing and all of these things. But my brain didn't see that. My brain decided to only show me the happy moments. So my brain was really trying to protect me from pain by highlighting the positives and filtering out all of the negatives. I forgot all about the good reasons and the valid reasons why I was kind of unhappy as well, and why, there was a reason in this shift in our relationship at the end, and why we ended up where we ended up. And it's very typical to only remember, the negative things in this moment. Reason three. You never learned to fulfill your own needs, and this is really a big one. So you abandon yourself as a trauma response, so they fill this role for you. They become this ideal parent you maybe never had, or something that was missing from your childhood, maybe through inconsistent parenting or through other things. Maybe you were highly sensitive and you felt like emotionally unsafe. So you have this huge need of connection or validation or safety, and then you're hoping that to get all of this met by this one person, and that is your partner, for example, or your ex, meaning you outsource your happiness instead of creating it yourself. And I am very guilty of this. I've been doing this for years and years, but the thing is, you don't even realize it, because it's, you're repeating the same pattern over and over again until either someone really points it out to you, or you have your I'm done moment, and then you really go deeper into inner work, to self-development, and you learn about attachment theory, and wow, everything makes sense suddenly. And because of my abandonment wound, I learned to put my needs last and other people's needs always before mine. The thing when you have to put the oxygen mask first on in the airplane, this is really important. This is a lesson that if you don't take care of yourself first, you can't take care of your partner or your kids or your friends and the loved ones around you. But for me, then retraining myself and rewiring to what's not selfish, to put my own needs before me, because otherwise I can't take care of anyone else, was the best reframe for me at that time, to learn I matter as well. It's not just other people, and I can put myself first. Doesn't mean I'm selfish. And because I always was putting everyone else before my needs, I did this so consistently that I didn't even know at some point what were my needs even. Often when I came home from school, my mom asked me, hey, how are you doing? And every time I said, I'm fine, I'm okay. And I wasn't fine every day. I wasn't okay every day. I was tired. I was exhausted. I was drained. I had all of these different emotions, but I couldn't even find a single word for how I felt except from I'm fine. This is how detached I was in a negative way, and how less connected. I think that's a whole different topic when we are so detached from ourselves that we don't even know anything about ourselves. I think that's definitely a great topic for a different podcast episode. But so when I finally found then a partner who seems to really care, I immediately outsourced all my emotional needs to him. I would think I'll feel better when he calls. Instead of really asking myself, what do I actually need and how can I fulfill this need right now? Is it maybe even just, some words of affirmation? Can I just reassure myself? Do I need a cup of tea or like a blanket to feel safe? And do I need comfort? Do I just need connection? Do I just need to validate myself? Do I need to stop the negative thoughts and just tell myself, you know what, it's going to be okay? Do I just need to, ground myself? What do I actually need in this moment? And I expected him to comfort me, make me feel loved and secure and taken care of and feeling chosen. And the more I did it, the more I was putting him as my emotional caretaker, and the less I was able to then fulfill my own needs and actually knew what I wanted. And sometimes when he wasn't doing it, I then created resentment. And then I also had completely lost the ability to emotionally regulate without external validation. And that is a pattern I see over and over again in my clients who are anxiously attached. And this is a skill that can be learned. It's not even that hard. It just takes to know how you do it, repetitions, and really learning and teach your brain what this feels uncomfortable, this feels scary, it feels easier to reach out to your partner and ask for all of these things. But you can totally give these things to yourself. And when you do, you actually learn over time, hey, you know what? This feels so much more empowering because now I am the creator of my life. I am in charge of my emotions and I can make myself feel better. I don't have to wait for my partner to do this or for this person to do this or until this event happens. Like me creating a YouTube channel or creating a podcast, I had to be okay from this detached outcome to say, even if no one is listening for a while, even if I get hate comments, that sometimes even happens for some reason, I have to learn to, detach from this and show up anyway. And this is something I would have not been able to do like a few years ago. And I luckily have learned over time. It's not if you detach from the thing and obsess over it and learn, what, you create your own emotions, everything changes. Reason number 4, you believe safety comes from outside, not from within. So you've learned that safety is an external thing and not an internal one, and it comes from others, like your partner, for example. So closeness or words of affirmation equals safety to you. Like detaching and focusing on yourself feels terrifying because maybe growing up you experience this perceived abandonment. Like when I was being dropped off at kindergarten, I remember that was a very terrifying moment for me. And my dad, of course, didn't leave me, didn't abandon me. But for some reason, I was a little bit too young. And I used to also feel very physically even sick and anxious when my partner would leave for work and I would stay home working from home. And it sounds a little bit silly if someone doesn't experience the same thing. But for me, I learned to connect safety with closeness. And the moment, kind of like separation anxiety, the moment your partner then leaves for work and you're all day home alone, it's completely, scary, even though consciously there's nothing to be like scared about. But your subconscious mind, your nervous system is so trained to feel scared or feels like this is a threat right now. So I would just keep checking my phone and was trying to text him, was trying not to text him too often, but I couldn't help it. Checking on updates, and I was so excited when he texted back, and when he came home I was already waiting at the door, and something I couldn't really just switch off like that. My subconscious mind really was trained for knowing what separation means danger and there's something not safe here. So there's no wonder that I can't detach easily until I haven't reprogrammed myself that this is actually safe, until I have healed these patterns. Reason 5 why you are so attached and can't detach easily is your lack of self-trust. So detachment is about knowing you are okay no matter what. It's about self-trust. Self-trust is probably something you have never learned. It feels safer to outsource solutions over your emotional happiness rather than believing if it's not this, then something else. You would rather stay in the discomfort of the familiar rather than explore the possible comfort of the unfamiliar. Reason 6, you're reinforcing the old habits of feeling insecure and unable to detach because you keep doing the same things over and over again. And the definition of insanity is doing the same thing repeatedly over and over again and expecting different results. That's what Albert Einstein used to say, and he was right with that. So you need to break off and do something differently if you keep texting your partner, or if you keep worrying about something without trying, like meditation or going for a walk or literally working with a coach or watching YouTube tutorials or actually applying the action steps, then things might not be different. And then again, we program ourselves with repetition and emotion. And if every time you feel this enormous pain when your partner doesn't text back, and when something happens that is outside of your control, you tell yourself every time, see, I told you so that this wouldn't work, and people will leave. But that's why it's so important that you work consciously on your subconscious patterns to create different patterns, different repetitions with positive emotions, to tell yourself, you know what, even if this person left, I'm still okay, I'm still here. Look back at things that you really got attached to years and years ago, maybe in school, that you got obsessed over, and now it's not a big deal anymore at all. Okay, I hope you can't hear the rain. It's very heavily raining right now, and I usually try to cut out the background noise, but I'm not sure if I'm able to this time. So I hope you don't mind a little bit raindrop sounds in the background. Reason 7 why you're so attached and not able to let go and emotionally detach is because you're obsessively trying to control everything and things that you can't control. You're exhausting yourself trying to control everything around you. How much reassurance you get from your partner, how they unload the dishwasher, whether they apply sun cream on their face, what kind of diet they eat, how much they move and walk their, I don't know, how often they brush their hair, if they have hair, I don't know. Anything. You lecture them, and if they forget something in the household, to pick up the socks and all of these things. And the more you try to focus on what they're doing wrong, what they should be doing instead, and how much they should reassure you, the more you focus on things outside of your control. Because you can never control the other person. Yes, you can ask for things and communicate, but in the end, you can only control your own thoughts and your own actions and your own emotions. And the reason why we overthink and obsess in our heads, because we want control and safety. You know, control equals safety. But by doing this, we spiral, we create more anxiety and push, force, and literally we get away from our outcome. But the brutal truth is we can't control our partner, even if we all have tried. The moment I realized for myself, everything shifted for me. And even if things were not perfect, the house wasn't perfect, our schedule wasn't perfect, but I had inner peace. And it is so much more important than ensuring the dishwasher is unloaded or everything's perfectly clean and your partner does exactly 50-50 in your relationship like you would expect him to. And a client of mine actually used to track her partner's location constantly. They had a tracker and all of these things, check who he liked on social media, try to see who he's following, if he's still following up with his ex, and all of these things. He was also kind of like the manager, scheduling his weekly schedule on what he has to do and following up, and yeah, being very like in her masculine energy. And in truth, like, she was very terrified of uncertainty, that controlling everything felt like the only way to really feel safe. In our coaching sessions, I asked her to imagine how her partner might feel with this level of monitoring, and we really went deeper, and the realization hit her hard that it is very suffering for him. And she was able to see this, and we worked on that. And this became really one of her turning points. Through our work together and on working on detachment, really, she learned to slowly let loose of her grip. We also added, ways to work with her anxiety, because anxiety is, this huge big thing why you often can't let go. And everything shifted going from this moment onwards. And she told me, for the first time, I really can breathe as well, because she didn't realize how much pressure she put on herself by trying to, do everything, be everything, control things she couldn't control. And reason 8 why you're so unable to detach yet is because you've created this false reality in your head. I read a comment online saying something like, you get attached to this false reality of happiness. And another one pointed out, it was my love, my energy, and my effort that made him special. Without it, he's just ordinary. That kind of proves it as well, right? So the truth is, it's less about your love for someone and the more about your fear that makes you cling so hard on someone or the thing or the outcome. Your attachment isn't proof of your love, it's evidence of your anxiety. Have you ever noticed you get attached the most to things or people which you can't really have? Who give you not enough, the people who like withdraw the most. The more you attach, the more they pull away. You get attached to people the most, which you can't have. The more unavailable someone is, the more you want them. The more I chased my partner or pushed him for cuddles and affection, the more he pushed me away. And it didn't mean he didn't want me as a person, but just alone this active pursuing and need of physical closeness and emotional closeness was just too much for him because there was his triggers. So by noticing this, it doesn't mean necessarily the person doesn't want you, but they don't want this act of attachment. And if you don't learn to detach, here's what happens. They control your emotions. They hold the power over you. You stay stuck in this push and pull dynamic in your anxious avoidant relationship, for example. So now that you understand that, let's move on really how to break free. So this was the biggest part of this 4-step framework, I promise. Understanding and awareness is usually like 80% of everything. The rest is not even that much. Now step 2 and 3 and 4 are much smaller. So step 2 is challenge your beliefs. Here's how to really break the cycle. This step is all about changing what keeps you stuck. So create a list of all the beliefs that keep you stuck right now. Become a master at challenging them, and then create new beliefs that set you completely free. Your old beliefs might sound like, I need them to be happy. No one will ever love me like they do. I can't survive without them. Does it sound familiar? Let me know in the YouTube comments if this is you or what beliefs are holding you back. So, but here's the wake-up call you need to hear, I think and I hope. So these are just lies. Lies your anxious brain is telling you. Your new beliefs could be something like, your new beliefs or thoughts might sound something like this. Your hopes and needs may not get met by this one person alone. This person is who they are, but not who I fantasize them to be. I can get my needs met in healthy ways. This is not a tragedy, and I'm not a victim. I'm the creator of my emotions, and I can detach. If not this, then something else. If not now, then another time. What's meant for you will simply find you. You know this one, right? Yeah, and life goes on and you'll be fine. And as one person also shared online somewhere, the love that you're searching for outside is already within you. And I don't want to quote these people online because, you know, there are people who are leaving comments on Reddit or YouTube and they haven't really given any permission to name their thoughts out loud. So I don't want to put anyone here on the spot. And every time you choose to believe a new truth and cancel this lie, you're building this muscle of detachment. The more you do this, the more you build this over and over again. But you have to notice it. Ideally, write this down. Write down the old belief, cross it out, and write down the new belief, and write it down over and over again why this is true. Find evidence for that. And by the way, if you want to go deeper, I'm linking an attachment library below. A magical place where you find lots of free resources, including worksheets, journaling prompts, podcast episodes, cheat sheets, and checklists. For example, 181 self-love ideas to detach and thrive, or the ultimate guide to end jealousy forever, 10 journaling prompts that transform my abandonment fears, the anxious to secure checklist, the he doesn't reply flowchart, a boundary and self-esteem toolkit, my worry-free flowchart, 11 habits to rewire your subconscious mind, and so much more. So don't miss out on this. Yes, and all for free. Step 3, identify and meet your needs. What are all the things that you think this person is giving you or should give you or has given you that you can't give yourself? Challenge this again. These are limiting beliefs, right? Everything you want from them, you can give yourself, at least to like 80, 90%. And everything else, other people can give you. You can spread this out, and other people can fulfill this need as well. You don't have to just get one person in your life who's supposed to fulfill all your needs. So first, give yourself what you really need first. Like, this isn't just about self-care, it's about becoming your own source of security. Let me give you some examples. Let's say if you need connection, learn to sit with loneliness until it forms into solitude. Learn to be okay being alone without feeling lonely. If you need safety, learn to process your emotions, to self-soothe, to not rely on your partner for co-regulation. Try meditation, try breath work, try slowing down, try to connect with nature, try to connect with yourself, just being there with yourself, and learn to reassure yourself and validate yourself. Learn to become your own best friend. If you need validation, speak to yourself kindly, challenge your thoughts, be really your best friend, and talk to yourself out loud even. That's very powerful. Thoughts are powerful, but if you say them out loud, it has a much stronger effect. I saw a study once, I think it's strengthened the effect by 3 times or 10 times if you say things out loud, something like that. And develop hobbies that make you lose track of time. If you're busy, if your life is full, if you're obsessed with your life, you attract everyone else, right? Who are people you are really inspired by? Who you think, oh my God, they are magnetic, I want to be like them. They are not like sitting on the couch doing nothing all day and complaining, judging people, gossiping around. They're actually full. They are really able to connect with people. They're going outside, they're doing things, they're journaling. They're also be able to connect to themselves. They're excited about life. So really maybe start an online course or go outside and connect with people there and really figure out, hey, what is it actually that I like? Do I like art? Do I like dancing? Do I like movement? Do I like nature? Do I want to climb? Do I want to go for a walk? What do I want to learn? And also build like a physical connection to yourself through movement. Anything that really helps you to like reclaim your body as a place of home. And this can take a while, but again, this is also very powerful. And then and the next step here in learning to fulfill your own needs is create more sources of needs. Don't put all your eggs in one basket, but create a life that is really full and filled with all of different things. Have one person you can go to and gossip about the TV program. Have one person you can talk to about what's happening at work, to really dump your emotions. Good luck to that person. For example, like I can really talk to my partner about anything, but I don't use him as like my validation dump or to fulfill all my needs about certain kind of topics. My partner's not the best source of getting these needs met, and he shouldn't be as well. Sometimes I want to speak to my mom about certain things. Sometimes I'm going to go to a different person, and really find different people in your life and different sources how you can fulfill your needs in different ways. Spread yourself out, even if you're trying to get over your ex. If you suddenly have like 5 other sources how to feel safe and secure and connected and loved, now it becomes much easier because now you have also all of these other areas that fill your bucket. Like connect with your family members who uplift you, reach out to your sister or brother or even cousin, even chat with like the lady at the post office like I used to do, and connect with other dog walkers if you're a dog walker, or just even if you're not, just touch the dogs. Like everyone is always so welcome and open if you're a dog walker. And every bit connection really fills up your cup more and more, so that your partner doesn't have to do it for you. And then as additional resource, ask your partner for support. And of course you can go to your partner for all of these things, but it's not the first thing you should go to if you really want to learn to take your power back and to be in charge of your emotions. And step 4, that is really like do some shadow work. And that is an additional tool, like to really rewire your subconscious mind. And this is how it works. And it's called, like I call it the mirror effect. So if you feel triggered by your partner's actions, reflect this back onto yourself. Let's say if you feel like they don't spend enough time with you, ask yourself, where do you not spend enough time with yourself? If they don't value you, only give you breadcrumbs, for example, point the finger back to you, like at least 3 of them pointing back to you. If they don't value you or only give you breadcrumbs, ask yourself, how are you giving yourself only breadcrumbs? How are you not valuing yourself? Or if they are emotionally unavailable, again, where are you emotionally unavailable to yourself? And now this part is really all about how we can really fast track your detachment journey. And this is all about the secrets of your subconscious mind. Just before, really quickly, if you are anxiously attached, highly ambitious, you have tried it all, but now you're ready to become securely attached using this power of the subconscious mind, I offer one-on-one coaching where we meet bi-weekly to help you to really transform your anxious attachment style. If you're serious about, real change, I highly recommend my 4 or 8 month coaching program. And here's the truth, the biggest transformation is actually not in the coaching calls, but it's happening all in between the coaching calls, in between the sessions, when you actually apply these steps. Because coaching isn't about just talking, it's actually about taking the action steps. So if this sounds like you, check the link in the description below or in the show notes to reach out to me or to jump on a free call with me to see if we are a great match together. And now the secret to fast track your detachment journey. Here's the powerful truth about, what people miss often. The fastest way to detach isn't through your conscious mind, but it's through rewiring your subconscious mind. So your conscious mind holds only 5% of your actions and decisions. Only the other 95%, that's your subconscious mind running the show based on your old programming and beliefs. This is why logically you still can't seem to do it. You've read the books, you've watched the movies, and you've watched the YouTube videos, you've done therapy, but logic alone can't override decades of subconscious programming. The real secret is this: you need to break free directly to your subconscious mind through consistent targeted programming. So start rewiring your brain through gentle, consistent exposure. Start small. Can you go for 2 hours without checking their phone on social media? Then try it with 4. Can you spend a weekend focus on yourself without making plans with your partner or without obsessing over your ex, what he's doing? Can you really focus on yourself? Maybe really fill in an entire weekend just with your own plans. Can you, make your own decisions about what to eat for dinner? And reinforcing, and it's important to really reinforce these new neural pathways to create new beliefs and to regulate your nervous system as well. So journal every day, write down 10 specific reasons why letting go is propelling you forward towards your goals. Document this with evidence. List how your old beliefs have kept you stuck in specific situations. This is also rewiring your mind, finding pieces of evidences. You know what I mean. Rehearse really your freedom. So vividly imagine your new detached self in these triggered scenarios, but how you now would react differently. Record your new neutral or believable affirmations that support your detachment journey, like, if not him, then someone else. If not now, then it will happen eventually. Something like this, right? Listen for 20 minutes in the morning or even just 10 minutes or in the evening before falling asleep. That's exactly when your brain is in this hyper-suggestible theta brainwave state, when you are very hyper-suggestible for new beliefs. And because at its core, attachment isn't about them, it's about a lack of self-trust, to be okay with them without with a different outcome, without this person, without the situation. And when you target your subconscious mind directly, detachment stops feeling like constant struggle and starts feeling more naturally. And this is kind of a shortcut that really fast-tracked my journey. After a while, it will feel much more natural. And remember, create a life outside your relationship. This advice is extremely important. Sometimes when we get attached, when we get too attached, we open up so much more space in our daily routine just for them. And then when they aren't constantly in our space or talking to us or wanting to spend time with us, everything feels like a void and it feels wrong and we feel like uneasy. Never let someone change the original life routine you had before you met them, unless it really benefits you and you really want to do this for you. Your relationship should add to your life, never become your life. Stop creating fantasies as well. We are all on one level, every one of us. We don't have to change for anyone. The moment you detach, you attract. Detachment is not a fast track, it is healing, but there are ways to really speed this up for sure. And stop selling yourself short. Take back your own power. See this person exactly for who they are actually, and realize, is this meant for me? Do I cling on out of fear, or is this actually love? Because in the end, we break our own hearts, but we are also the ones who can heal them. And that's the good news. So if you love this video, you really have to watch this one. 10 micro habits how to detach from your need for approval to stop the endless chase of validation. If you ever felt like you need your partner's approval to feel okay, this episode is for you. But this can be also applied for friendships, for colleagues, and in general. You know the cycle when you ask, are we okay? You still love me? Just to feel this relief. But then your avoidant partner pulls away, pulls back, withdraws, making you feel anxious. So you seek more reassurance. You cling tighter, and then the cycle continues and continues. And it's this constant dialogue. Am I doing this right? Do they approve of me? Do they actually like me still? Do they even love me? What if I'm not good enough for my partner? And this is not just about people pleasing. This is about survival. Your brain doesn't care about if you're happy. Your brain thinks about, are we going to survive this? This is your nervous system's way of trying to secure belonging, trying to prevent rejection. But every time when you seek validation outside of yourself, you are giving away a piece of your soul. This also applies for friendships, colleagues, families, because every time you seek validation from someone else, it tells your brain, you know what, I'm not good enough. I need someone else to feel good enough. So the micro habits I'll talk about today will help you to detach from your need of validation, and it helps you to reclaim back your power. And I'm so excited for this episode because I personally have achieved so much progress in my attachment healing journey through just this 1% micro habits and steps over hours of deep work, because I'm someone as well who learns through micro action steps, who applying these tools every day rather than doing like hours of deep work. And a lot of my clients also tend to more procrastinate and working so many hours a day, or have kids and families, so they don't have 3 hours a day to just, do this inner work, and rather create healthy, secure relationships through these 2-minute micro shifts. So what actually happens though when you learn to detach? You are living in, their approval rather than in your own inner peace. You're exhausted, you're stressed, and you're totally disconnected from yourself. And your entire mood depends on someone else's words of what someone else does for you, or how they show up in your environment. So the result is then you maybe feel powerless, or you're just, riding this emotional wave. And when you have a bad day, you're hoping for them to make you feel okay. But instead, if you, change this, you can actually learn to validate yourself. If you keep asking, hey, are we okay? And over again, you're actually terrified of being abandoned. And with this, you also overwhelm your partner, especially if they're avoidant attached, and create this pressure of, you have to commit to me every day, tell me every day that we are okay, that you still love me. And this is something very hard for someone who's avoidant attached, who struggles with being vulnerable, who struggles to share their emotions, and who even struggles to say these, 3 words, I love you, in general. And if you pressure them to say this every day, this can create this huge distrust, because then you think, hey, why can't my partner say this? Then your partner thinks, hey, why Does my partner not trust me? That why do I have to say it every day? And that is very hard for both of you. You feel like this, why can't they just say it? They think like, why do I have to say it to prove it? And it's just getting more and more of a struggle between the two of you. And the truth is, a lot of my clients, their partner is reassuring them, that are showing up for them. But the thing is, if you have an anxious attachment style, no amount of reassurance will ever make you feel secure if you don't feel secure from within you. If you have an insecure attachment style, you will always feel empty and always craving for more and more. So the real damage is your self-worth shrinks to the size of their attention. You will then attract partners who will never fully meet your needs, and then your anxiety becomes your closest relationship. And then you will always lose yourself in the process of trying to keep someone else. And when you don't detach, you're trading your entire sense of self for moments of temporarily relief. And that's a very high price to pay. But today we talk about the 2-minute micro habits that can help you to detach from your need of approval from your partner or from other people in your life. And my personal favorite habits are habit 6 and 7, and the bonus one in the end as well. They're very good. So let me know in your comments on YouTube which ones are your favorite in the end. And when I drafted this episode, I actually remembered so many micro shifts and couldn't even reduce them to just 10 micro habits. So I think I will turn this into a series of like 30 micro shifts for lots of different episodes and topics of like how to detach from someone emotionally when you are easily soaking up someone's emotions, how to detach from someone after a breakup, how to detach from someone if you're struggling with people pleasing. So if you want more micro habit episodes, give me a shout on YouTube or reply on any of my emails so I can know exactly what I can focus on next. And the big promise is, if you commit to just one of these micro shifts for at least 30 days, you stop seeking other people's approval on autopilot and start really trusting yourself more, instead of just, feeling out of control of your emotions and chipping away from your self-worth. So here they are, the 10 micro habits to detach from your need of approval, especially from your avoidant attached partner. Let's go. Reassurance redirection. So what does it mean? When you feel the urge of ask your partner for reassurance or validation, like, are you mad at me or are we okay? Pause for a moment and instead ask yourself, am I okay right now? This simple question really shifts the focus from your partner or from your friend or from your mom to yourself. So why does this work? By redirecting your attention inwards, you interrupt the pattern of seeking someone else's validation. And over time, this teaches your nervous system and your anxious brain this sense of security and self-worth. And it creates this inner calm. And it teaches your brain, I don't need other people to feel okay. I can validate myself. And this is a very short and very quick habit, but it's one of the most powerful ones you can do if you're used to seek other people's approval. This empowers you to feel okay regardless of your partner's mood or actions. It's a reminder that you have the power to choose your emotional state. And you can also add the mantra, I choose how I feel. I choose my peace. Micro habit 2, that another 2-minute habit you can do here is the 2-minute validation delay. So when you feel the urge of ask for validation again, pause. It sounds similar, but it's not. Hold on. You're just going to pause and then you set a timer for just 2 minutes and commit to not seeking that validation during that time. Instead, take a couple of deep breaths and again, remind yourself in this time to realize that you're already inherently worth. And you see that you can self-soothe within this 2 minutes. And afterwards, you can still seek other people's validation if you want to, and if that need for validation is still there. This is telling your brain, you know what? You can still seek people's validation. You can still do that, but at least give yourself a moment to breathe first, to slow down first. Because if you tell yourself, no, you can't do this, don't seek people's validation, you are not allowed to, your brain is focused on you want to do this even more. It's like if you're on a diet and tell yourself, don't eat that chocolate, don't do this. Your brain is focused on the chocolate, right? You're always thinking about food more and more. That's why you want to tell yourself, you know what? You can do this. It's totally allowed, but in 2 minutes. And it slows also down the urge of taking the action right now. Because if you are in fight or flight, everything's urgent. You have to do it right now. You need to ask for validation right now. Are we okay? Are we good? Am I pretty? And what do you think of my dress? And you think you need the answer right now. But by slowing down, you're already intentionally telling your brain there's no rush. There's no urgency. You're not being chased by a tiger. You're safe, and this changes everything. And in a mantra you can tell yourself as well is, I'm safe, I've got this, I can slow down, and in 2 minutes I can reassess. Micro habit 3 you can do to learn to detach from your need for approval is, if not now, then another time. And that's all about trust in the timing. So when your mind starts worrying about, why aren't they committing? Why aren't they talking about the future plans anymore? Why is my partner not talking about the marriage or investing in buying a house or building a family and all of these future plans? Or what if I lose them? Take a deep breath and remind yourself, if not now, then another time. If it's meant to be, it will be. Then refocus your energy on yourself. And it's all about building trust that everything will happen as it should happen. Anxiety often makes us believe that our current relationships is the only chance of love, and they are the one and only. They are our savior, and if it doesn't work out with our partner, it's the biggest tragedy, and we have to cling on to that what we have right now, because our partner is so special. There's no one out there like them. But this mindset shift reminds us that love is abundant and there's 8 billion people in this world. And if it's not meant for you in that moment, it will happen another time. So don't cling onto this out of fear, out of control. Let go and release the pressure that everything has to work right now. And this reminds us that love is really abundant and what's truly meant for us won't slip away. It's a way of telling your brain, I trust in my timing of my life. And it might make you feel more relaxed in your relationship, and you can remind yourself of this every day. You can journal it. You can listen to like meditations before going to bed, that everything will work out how it should work out. Instead of really grasping for, you need to have certainty that everything will work out with this specific partner or in this specific way, because we don't know what's happening in future. But we should know that everything will work itself out somehow, even if we don't know exactly how. The how doesn't matter. We just know we will be okay and we will be able to handle challenges just as we have managed challenges in the past. So go back in the past and say, you know what, these are all the challenges I've overcome already. And yes, maybe this didn't work out as planned, but I've now learned from this challenge as well. It's a more peaceful way to approach love. Micro habit 4, and I call this the validation hunger energy audit. Before responding to a text, agreeing to plans, or saying yes to a request, pause and ask yourself, am I doing this to get their approval? What validation am I secretly hoping right now from them? If I wasn't seeking their approval, if I would be completely secure in myself, extremely confident, and maybe even think about the most secure, confident, badass person right now, how would they respond? How would the best version of yourself respond? These are all questions you can ask yourself. Maybe write down the most powerful question for you, so you can then remind yourself of this one question, because our brain consciously can only focus on about, I think, 7 to 9 data points at a time. This habit helps you to recognize when you're actually acting from a place of, hey, I need validation, versus from a place of being authentic, by pausing to check in with yourself on your true feelings, you can then respond in a more aligned way and not from a way that is aligned from this fear-based validation-seeking place. And by catching these moments, I've learned a lot about myself, what I actually needed and what I wanted, and to learn to detach more and more. And that increased my self-esteem so much. And you can tell yourself, my worth is not negotiable. I am enough exactly as I am. But I can also see that you might not be there yet. So you can tell yourself something you can believe at this time and point. And step number 5, a mirror pep talk. Now, every morning, take a few seconds to look at yourself in the mirror when you may be brushing your hair and offer some kind, supportive words. Because in the morning, we are in this very hyper-suggestible state where we are easily programmed for new beliefs. So it's important to not use negative words or thoughts. We have usually a lot of times on autopilot when we look in the mirror, right? Especially if you're insecure or have an anxious attachment style. But instead of criticizing yourself, your appearance, and looking for flaws, try this. Say things like, I'm doing the best I can. I'm capable of handling whatever comes my way today, or I've got this. Things that are neutral or more positive, but definitely not negative. So why does this work? By constantly speaking to yourself with compassion, you are retraining your brain to default to kindness rather than criticism and putting yourself down and being your inner bully. Over time, this practice can help you shift your inner dialogue and help you to become more kinder to yourself. Because if you are someone who is always seeking other people's approval, so it's so important that you start with yourself first. Imagine next to you a person who shouted you all of these negative thoughts. This inner self is saying all of these thoughts to you all day long, 60,000 thoughts of them, and 80% of them are negative. So even if you just do this 2-minute habit of being kind to yourself, this does make a huge difference if you do this every day, because thoughts are extremely powerful. If you have a thought of, I'm ugly, oh, my nose is too big, I've put on another kilo, or I'm too skinny, or I'm too tall, then you feel like crap, right? You don't feel good enough. But if you have a thought like, hey, you know what? I've got this. I'm doing the best I can. Today's going to be a good day. You feel much more lighter and empowered. So now imagine you saying these words out loud to yourself. This has a much stronger effect. So I highly recommend doing this in the morning or in the evening or even both times, because it's even stronger. If you do this in front of the mirror and look into your eyes, this creates an even deeper connection to yourself. And I've been doing this over the last month, and I can really see a huge progress, because I used to be an extreme insecure person. I used to hate my body. I used to have the worst thoughts about myself, and actually I've put on a lot of weight over the last months because of lots of different reasons: hormones, food, working on my laptop all day. But I've been very compassionate and kind to myself, and going through this journey with kindness, this has helped me so much in this. Seek validation in yourself first and make this a habit. So, and the mantra you can tell yourself is, I am my own best friend and my biggest supporter. I want to talk to you about my 2 resources that in relation to this. First is my How to Stop Overthinking Your Relationship course. Look, here's the truth. You cannot control your partner, right? The more you try to control, analyze, and predict, the more anxious you become. You're actually reinforcing these habits. The more you overthink, the more you're trying to predict the future. So this 4-step course is designed to help you stop this mental spiral. It's not about managing your partner's behavior, by the way, but it's about managing your response, because that's the only thing we can control: our thoughts, our emotions, and our actions to create the new results in our relationship. So you learn how to recognize your overthinking patterns, the root causes of why we overthink as someone who has an anxious attachment style, interrupting the cycle, and rebuilding trust in yourself, and quick ways how to stop the cycle, and long-term ways. And the second resource is also very powerful. This is called the text anxiety course. It's also a mini course. Text anxiety is something I call if someone is obsessively thinking about how fast someone is texting you or what are they saying, and worrying about the communication in texting behaviors, and worrying about, hey, they have read my text but they haven't replied, and all of these micro things what are happening in the communication of like WhatsApp and phone calls. But here's the thing, this has nothing to do with them and all to do with you and your anxious brain and your upbringing. It's never about how often they reply or how fast they reply or what they say. This is about your anxiety and your anxious attachment style. But this is the great news, because you can only change your style and your anxiety. We can communicate our preference, but then what they're doing is up to them. And the best way is to learn to communicate in a healthy way, in a grounded and detached way. But the most empowering thing is we can work on our anxiety first. So in this course, I'll help you to really detach and to stop obsessing over text within 21 days. Because as a reminder, it's not your fault that you have anxiety and that you have an anxious attachment style, but now it's really your responsibility to do the inner work. And I love to be your guide and coach to do this work with you. And both courses are still on beta round, meaning it's super reduced. The prices will go up, I think, by end of this year, so you can still have access right now to the reduced versions of it until the prices will go up and until I will re-record everything to make sure everything is much more up to speed. Right now it's in this draft form where it's a little bit imperfect, but you will still get the results so far. And the best thing is right now you can email me any questions you have during the time, and I give you guided email support. But that's just because it's the beta round. Don't miss out on that. And the links for the two courses are in the description below if you're interested. Micro habit number 6, shift from do they approve to do I approve. And by the way, I've seen this so many times, especially if you start dating someone. Anxious attachers are often asking the wrong question. They're only focusing on, do they like me? Do they choose me? Instead of, do I actually like that person? Would I choose this person? And the same you can keep asking yourself if you're already in a relationship. So whenever you catch yourself wondering, do they like this? Do they approve of this? Take a moment for yourself and redirect this question. Say, hey, wait a second, do I like this? Do I approve of this? Make the habit on checking on with your feelings and opinions first. For example, if you're getting dressed and you keep asking for your partner's opinion about what you should wear or what lipstick they like, ask, do I like this? And stop asking for people's opinion. Or even for bigger things like a career choice, stop asking for everyone's approval or what they think. Go with your own gut first. Develop self-trust and just go with it. And if it's wrong later on and you regret the decision, at least you learned from it and you learned more about yourself. So why does this work? By constantly prioritizing your own approval over other people's approval, you're gradually strengthening your self-trust and reducing the need for external validation. This is especially helpful for anyone who has an anxious attachment style, who really tends to default to seeking other people's approval. And I've been practicing this habit too, and it's been eye-opening, really. Instead of trusting other people, and even for little things like I never knew what to order for dinner, and when my partner ordered something, I always wanted what he had. But in the end, I let go of this need. There's no right or wrong choice. I can seek my own approval and figure out at the end what I liked and what I didn't like. And every time I choose my own approval, I felt more empowered. And I found more pieces of who I actually was as a person. So you can tell yourself, my approval is the only approval I need. And there's no right or wrong decisions either. And now my absolute favorite micro habit number 7 of how to stop seeking other people's approval is, don't add meaning to things. So whenever someone doesn't affirm or agree with you, catch yourself before adding meaning to their response. Remind yourself their reaction is not about me. This is not personal. If they don't tell you you look good, or if they tell you negative things or give you a silent treatment, or your partner doesn't look up from his phone when you ask him for something, or you needed some reassurance or validation, don't take it personal. It's not about you, it's about them. Or for example, if you share an idea with your colleague and they don't seem very enthusiastic, or maybe even are against your idea, don't take it personal. Don't make it mean that you're not good enough or that you're not creative enough. Don't add meaning into their words or their opinions. Just detach from this and say, you know what? This is their opinion, I have my opinion, and that's okay. If you are insecure, you often take everything personal. You think, okay, that means they don't like me now. This means I should never share my opinion anymore. And I get it, because I used to be this person, but just detach from it. Just because they don't react in the way you wish they would doesn't mean anything about you, about your self-worth, about how enough you are, or how lovable you are, or how funny you are as a person. Not at all. And by telling yourself this over and over again, you strengthen yourself. By resisting the urge to adding meaning to everything, we can reduce the self-doubt and the tendency to make it too personal. But I always used to think a lack of enthusiasm in someone else's response meant I was wrong, or there was something wrong with me, or I'm funny enough, I should just be quiet next time. But learning to not add extra meaning into things like this has helped me so much more to add extra confidence in those kind of things and to express myself more. Something I told myself then was, their reaction is about them, not about me. And micro habit number 8 you can do is the energy bubble. Imagine this bubble allowing positive energy to get inside of your bubble, but anything else stays outside of it. Deflecting negative energy, anything that drains it, and that stays out of it. So when you are anxiously attached, seeking validation can feel like a need, as if someone's reassurance is the only way to feel okay. But relying on external validation can leave you feeling powerless or constantly on edge. But if you have this energy bubble, this can really help you protecting your energy. Take a moment to just imagine yourself surrounded by this protective bubble of light. This bubble can let in warmth and love and support, but it blocks out negativity, rejection and fears, and even the urge to chase validation. Picture yourself in this bubble whenever you feel like I need validation right now, and you feel like really centered and warm and love and really worthy and good enough. And you can shift inwards. Instead of grasping for validation, you remind yourself that you are enough, that you can decide on how you feel right now, that you are protected in your energy bubble. And this can help you to stop looking outwards. Visualization helps you create a sense of energetic boundaries. You train your mind to feel more shielded and resilient. You can tell yourself, my peace is my own, and I choose what I allow into my space, into my bubble. And it can help you to feel more grounded and less reactive, instead of spiraling over they're distant, or how slow they reply, or if they don't give you validation at all. You can just tell yourself, you know what, you are safe in your own bubble. Nothing can touch you, nothing can stress you. You are your own safe place. Your energy is protected in your own bubble. I love this concept. Micro habit, the validation vault. Start collecting evidence of your worth and value if you're not sure yet that you are value and worthy, no matter of what someone else does, or that you are just born worthy on your own. So you could screenshot kind messages from friends, your loved ones, your partner, from colleagues, anything when someone gave you like a well done or told you something nice about yourself. Even work emails, an appraisal sheet. Journal any kind of moments when you felt proud of yourself, when other people told you something good about yourself. Create a folder on your phone, maybe even of pictures or screenshots. to remind yourself of these moments. Or like a confident folder when you felt very good in yourself. Look through the pictures, you can read through the kind messages and remind yourself of why you're good enough, why you're lovable, why someone else loves you, and why you are enough the way you are. So why does this work? By collecting proof of your worth, you're giving your brain really concrete evidence to reference when you have self-doubt. Because while we're all born worthy, sometimes you just need really to remind yourself of that. And this can act as a way of counterpoints to your negative self-talk and anxiety. And by reading them out loud, by sharing them with yourself, you can access all of the good positive emotions. And instead of asking for your partner to say it right now to you, you can just read it out to what he said to you like half a year ago, 1 month ago, by just collecting them. It might sound a bit crazy, but trust me, this helps. And building your own validation vault has been a game changer for a lot of my clients personally, especially when they're starting to build the muscle of finding proof and evidence every day in their life. And the secret is really building up new pieces of evidence every day for it. And then you see it in your everyday life too, more and more. The more you focus on these positive things, on these good things, the more you will see them in your life too. It's like your secret weapon against insecurity. Whenever I'm feeling down myself as well, I'm reminding myself of these moments. I don't have to go through my vault anymore. I don't need it anymore. But at the beginning, if you're starting your self-validation journey, this can be very powerful. And you can tell yourself, you know what, I'm worthy and valuable, and I even have receipts for that. And the micro habit for today I have is a 30-second self-check-in with yourself, or a 2-minute check-in. So take a few seconds each day to tune into yourself. Ask yourself, what am I feeling right now? What do I need in this moment? Put a hand on your heart. Make yourself feel seen and heard and validated. And then later on during the day, really act on this in really small, tiny ways. Maybe just take a deep breath, maybe sip of water, maybe stretch your body. Why does this work? This habit creates a deeper connection with yourself and with your emotions, because so many times we are disconnected from ourselves and we just want our partner to validate us, to take care of our emotions. But if we can take care of our emotions first, the need for validation becomes second nature. By responding to our needs, we're strengthening this ability to self-soothe and regulate with our emotions first. You can tell yourself, I'm listening to my own needs and I matter. I feel seen and validated. This is the last bonus micro habit you can do to detach from your need for approval. Is we are all on level ground. So whenever you find yourself putting your partner or friends or family on a pedestal, imagine them not above you or better than you, but on the same level as you. Really visually imagine yourself all standing on the same level. Because if you have an anxious attachment style, you often think other people are better than you, you're not as good enough, you're not as lovable, and you have to earn your love. This habit interrupts the pattern by visually and mentally placing everyone equally on the same level. It reminds you that you are just as worthy and valuable as anyone else. And you don't have to think, oh my God, they have a better relationship. They're so much further ahead than you. They have already this amazing car and house and career, and you don't have this. But in fact it doesn't matter what they have. Look at what you have right now. And it doesn't mean they're happier than you. When I worked so much on attachment theory, I realized so many times that I always thought, I'm not okay, other people are okay. And by reminding myself, you know what, I am good enough, other people are good enough, and we are all on the same level, it made me stop chasing other people and made me stop comparing myself to others as well. And yeah, we are all equally worthy. There's no pedestaling. We are all on this ground level. And remember, these habits are never about achieving perfectionism or about not feeling insecure again, but they're about slowly, gently, through this 2 minute a day, retraining your brain to building more loving and trusting relationships with yourself first. And be patient and compassionate with yourself, with you every day, with these 1% actions a day. And every small step is a victory worth celebrating. Detachment is not about not caring, it's about caring for yourself so much that you refuse to compromise your peace, your worth, and your identity. And the key principles of emotional attachment is your worth is not negotiable. You are not responsible for managing other people's emotions. It's not about prioritizing your peace. And the boundaries are an act of self-love, not rejection. And you don't need anyone else's approval to feel good enough. But you need to realize that you need your own approval. And again, these habits are not a quick fix. They're just a journey of rewiring years of ingrained patterns. And be patient with yourself as well and kind. And my mantra for today is, I'm secure with myself. My peace is not determined by external validation. I trust my journey. And remember, every time you choose yourself, you're breaking generational patterns of anxious attachment. You're not just healing yourself, you're healing and breaking the cycle that came before you. So keep showing up and keep choosing you. So if you love this video, you really have to watch this one. How to emotionally detach from your ex in 10 steps to stop the world from collapsing. If you're in the dark tunnel of a post-breakup, spiraling, where it literally feels like your chest is going to rip open, where your brain is begging for just one more text back, and even when you know your relationship didn't work and won't work, your body still clings on to like it's life or death, then this episode is for you. I'm going to walk you through 10 steps to help you emotionally detach, not by cutting off your feelings or pretending to be over it, but by slowly rebuilding your safety and your identity and regulating from inside out. Because detachment isn't just getting over someone. Detachment is extremely powerful when it's done in the right moment and in the right steps. It's actually a skill that lets you feel grief as well, without drowning in it. Detachment isn't about giving up. In true, raw honesty, it's really about taking your own power back. It's empowering yourself. It's focusing on what you can control. If this sounds something like you're interested in, feel free to subscribe or give me a follow, and let's jump into the 10 steps to detach from your ex. So step number 1 is tell the truth. They are not your safe person anymore. And that might really hurt when you say this to yourself first. So you keep spiraling because your nervous system still registers your ex as home, even if it was a very painful home. And the first step is literally telling your system the truth. They are no longer my safe person. They are no longer where I go for comfort now. Say it out loud, repeat it, write it down, write it in your journal. Reinforce this new truth to yourself. Speak it like a loving boundary. Boundaries are there to, to protect your own peace, to respect yourself, and not as a punishment to yourself or other people. Like, they are no longer my safe person. I used to turn for them for safety, for reassurance, to feel good. But now I am my safe person. I'm learning to become my safe person. I can come to me if I need something, if I need validation, if I need someone to listen to. So instead of telling yourself they are not your safe person, tell yourself, who is your safe person? Is it you? Is it a friend? Start with yourself first and then add other people also into your life. Focus on other people who are your safe person, who you can come to as well as an addition, and to replace the other person, your ex who you just lost, as the anchor. If you tell yourself, my ex are no longer my safe person, your brain can't focus and can't really register no's. So what your brain is literally registering is, my ex are my safe person, something like this, right? So instead of having negative mantras, reframe it into a positive, like redirect to who is your safe person. Step number 2 is grieve the loss, not just a person. You're not just losing them. You're losing also the future you've dreamed of for so many years, about your relationship or marriage. Maybe you envisioned kids, maybe you never had kids. All of these micro moments you keep envisioning with this person, that's all going to be gone now. So allow yourself to grieve these moments as well. the version of you who you could have been become, the us you pictured in your head, the version of you who finally maybe felt loved and chosen and good enough. And that is something that hurts probably the most. So let yourself feel it really fully. Don't try to drown yourself only in ice creams and binge watching TV and scrolling on social media. Actually allow yourself to feel it in your body and scream and cry and allow yourself to just feel numb for a moment. Let yourself miss the fantasy as well. Let yourself cry about what could have been. Then gently remind yourself, I am allowed to grieve my dreams, our dreams. I'm not broken, but I'm just in pain. And it's okay to be in pain. It's nothing bad. It's normal, it's human. This version of me who's grieving deserves to have compassion and not shame. I'm grieving the version of me who thought they needed someone else to feel whole. Step 3, cut the cord. After you fully allowed yourself to feel the emotion, to grieve fully, you will know when you're ready for this. Step 3 is really hard, but this is really essential. I did this right away, actually after my last breakup. This was essential. The reason why lots of people are not able to detach and keep reinforcing the old wounds and the old, be still mentally with this person, because like they don't do this next step. And that is, they don't cut the cord. So you need to cut the cord physically, digitally, and emotionally as well when you are ready to do this, even before you're even ready. So stop re-traumatizing your system over and over again, checking in on their Instagram stories or on their post, rereading old messages, stalking their new partner maybe, or checking in if they got a new partner, and if they may be happier, if they've already moved on, sending them one last text or one final letter, hoping for closure. Every time you do this, your brain gets into micro hits of dopamine and hopes, and then crashes again. And this is a very addictive cycle. This is how the addiction loop really stays alive. So start a 3-day no contact detox. Even 3 days is enough to start calming the chaos in your nervous system. And don't even tell yourself, 3 days no contact. Because again, if you tell yourself, I can't contact them, you want to contact them. Reframe it to something like 3 days, I'm going to focus on myself. I'm going to start a new chapter just for 3 days. This is going to change the focus on you, on some hobbies, on something that excites you, even if it doesn't feel exciting yet. This will be very, very hard because your body is used to them 24/7 probably. They used to be there when you woke up, when you fell asleep, after work, in between, and their name in your notifications, their hoodie on your chair, their smell, their presence in your nervous system is like this phantom limb. I don't know if that makes sense, but their presence in your nervous system is like it's just still lingering around all the time. But to detach, you need to stop reactivating this loop no matter how you do this. So every time you check in on their stories, scroll their playlist and reread the last text and revisiting the places you really used to go with them, and they really remind you of them. You are just not just remembering these moments, but you're re-traumatizing yourself in micro dosages. You know what I mean? So your brain fires the same pathways again, and it's literally like as if they would be there with you right now, but in a much more painful way, because before that you were in a relationship with them or you were married to them, but now you're not. And that's very powerful, that's very painful. But if you really want to detach and move through this, you have to cut the cord. Otherwise, it just keeps the wound open. And your body believes they're still your source of regulation, but you need to realize you are the source of your regulation. You are able and capable to do this. And this is really where people get stuck the most for months and maybe even years if they never really start to do this. So instead of checking their profile or thinking about them trying to dance, to walk, to shake it off, like an animal does after their shock or they want to reset the nervous system, shake yourself off. Just move your body, mute or block them on their phone. You don't have to delete photos or rip them apart or destroy them, but put them in a box, into an archive, put it into a basement or wherever you have an area where you don't really, keep checking in on them. Maybe put the phones that are all in your phone in a different hard drive so you don't keep accidentally stumbling onto old pictures. Do anything that avoids them popping up constantly. If there were certain songs that keep re-triggering you that are on your playlist, remove that playlist or don't play that type of music. And over time, eventually, once you allow yourself to feel the emotions and detach later on, then these songs might be not as painful anymore. But at the beginning, they're still very triggering for you, and you want to remove as many triggers as possible. You won't be able to do this with all of them. Can't avoid all of the places. For example, if you're having a child and you still need to see each other and text each other, that is okay, but remove as much other sources as possible. And 4, shift the hook. What are you actually missing here? Ask yourself this. So you're craving them, of course, for sure. But what specifically are you craving as well? Because it's usually not just them you're craving and missing, it's what being with them gave you access to. Are you really missing them? Or the way they texted you good morning so your nervous system could breathe again knowing you matter to someone? Are you missing their presence or the feeling of being hugged at night so you could finally feel safe enough to sleep? So is it actually a feeling, a deeper down feeling that you experience when you were around them? That the action they did that created something inside of you, the version that you became when you were around them. Are you really missing the connection or the way your phone was lighting up with their name and how it made you feel, like maybe wanted or chosen or special or a sense of belonging? Are you really missing their talks or the way they would ask about your day, which made you feel like a little less invisible? See what I mean? This is really the real hook. So it's not really just them, but also the feeling of being finally seen and chosen and held, something that you've been missing in your childhood with friends in school. Maybe you were bullied and you were always felt like overlooked and not really being accepted fully. And finally, in your romantic relationships, you really felt loved and it felt like, emotionally safe. So here's the reframe. Once you know the feeling you're craving, you can start giving this to yourself first. Like if it's safety, for example, you're missing, like emotionally safety, wrap yourself in a soft blanket, like a cocoon. That's what, like, I love comfort and emotional safety. I'm a huge winter person. I have this fake furry blanket here. I always can't wait when starting to get a little bit colder here. Warmth makes your nervous system very regulated, it creates comfort inside of me and emotional safety. You want to really ask yourself, what is the feeling you're craving and how can you give this to yourself first? And you're going to probably think, no, that's not the same as if I get hugged by my partner or if they make me feel safe. But it will be over time, I promise. Of course, not in the moment you're really feeling deep down in pain, but with micro moments and actions and realizing this feeling doesn't have to come through your partner only, it has to come from yourself first. Over time, you're building more security from yourself, more self-worth. So you can also put a hand on your chest and on your belly and breathe slowly. Reduce, it will regulate, and you can tell yourself, I'm here for myself. I'm not going anywhere. I've got myself. If it's validation you're craving, write down what you did well today, even in the tiniest of moments. You really want to validate your own feelings here. after a scary thing or a challenge at work, you want to validate your own emotions first. Don't ask a friend or family member or your partner first. Validate your own emotions first. That is such a powerful skill because you are able to give this to yourself as well. Celebrate your own progress. Like, be the parent that you never really were to yourself. Tell yourself you're doing so well. I'm so proud of you. You can do this in the mirror. You can just have these thoughts every day through micro moments and acknowledge the pain without minimizing it as well. If it's a feeling of being chosen, ask yourself, what do I actually want right now? Don't say yes just to be liked. Don't just say no just to protect yourself. Choose you first, over and over and over again. Check in before you give away your energy to other people as well. Don't overextend. And if you would like to feel held or seen, ask yourself, how can you make yourself feel seen and held? Maybe it's literally just a self hug. Like, you can also do like a butterfly hug, interlink the two thumbs in the middle, and put the hands onto your chest, and then literally like tap the hands onto your chest, like one by one. First the left hand and then the right hand. It's like butterfly wings. This is regulating your nervous system as well. I'm going to go into more depth in another video on how to really regulate your nervous system through somatic tools like this. But that's one thing you can do. And then you're going to breathe in. You can tell yourself as well that you're here for yourself, that you've got yourself, and that you won't abandon you. And you're just going to be there for yourself, just even if it's just a moment, even if it's just like starting with like 10 seconds. Maybe next time it's like 30 seconds. You're just going to do this for a couple of times, and maybe next time it's like 1 minute. The more you're there for yourself, the more you teach your nervous system, you know what, at least you got yourself, and then you realize you've also got friends, and you've got a family member, and then you maybe got a coach or a therapist you can also reach out to. There are people in your life that really matter and that care for you. And even if one person leaves, it doesn't mean anything about your worth or about anything about you, and you can handle it. By the way, if you want help applying these tools and want to go deeper into this and creating a secure attachment style, for example, and if you have an anxious attachment styles, I'm happy to help you. I have the monthly text and talk support. So this is for you if you want daily or every other day coaching support, like through WhatsApp or Telegram. It's very flexible. It's a month-to-month container, so there's no commitment to a long-term program. You can cancel any time and talk to someone who has really been there and knows exactly how you feel in those moments, because lots of people come to me, have already done all of the things, therapy included. They're feeling disconnected to their therapist. They're still feeling stuck because talking alone is not the solution. You also need to apply the tools like nervous system work, subconscious work, and all of these things. If you don't apply the action steps and only talk about this, you won't be able to really create a transformation. And if you would like coaching calls included, where we jump on, like, for example, bi-weekly calls or unlimited calls as well, and we really want to talk face-to-face with me, I've got the monthly one-on-one coaching container as well for that. So if you're curious about the prices or have more information, check out the links below the YouTube video or in the show notes, and email me if you're interested to check if there's spots available still, or jump on a free call with me to check if you're really the right fit, because I really want to make sure before I'm offering this to anyone that we are a good match. Step number 5, how to detach from an ex, is name your core wound and realize it's not about them actually. So you might be thinking, this hurts so much, it must mean they are the one. They were my soulmate. They were the ones who were supposed to live and spend my life with. But here's what's actually happening. Your breakup didn't just create a new wound, it poked an old wound, the one that already lived in your nervous system. Ask yourself, what is this breakup actually activating inside of me? What's the oldest, most familiar part of this pain? Is it that I'm not good enough? Is it I will always get left? I always get abandoned? No one ever chooses me? Love isn't safe. I have to fake or be someone else to be liked. I'm too much. This is the original pain that was created years ago, and that just gets reactivated now through this thing that someone else did, maybe because your ex left or because you just didn't work out in your relationship. That means there's nothing wrong with you though. This only means this old core wound got reactivated. This pain didn't start with your ex or with a breakup. It started with a pattern that's been playing out for years. It usually starts in childhood, usually with ages 0 to 3 or even 12, because that's when core wounds are getting created and then reinforced later through experiences. So that is really why you feel like your whole world is collapsing, even though it's actually not, but it really feels like it. You want to acknowledge this pain and this core wound and realize, hey, you know what? What is this? You want to name it and feel it. And this is also the good news. This is actually your core wound. So your partner is not the enemy, the situation isn't the enemy, and this doesn't mean you're not good enough or you need to do something different next time. It simply means you need to work on this core wound and realize you are good enough and there's nothing you need to do different or prove or chase or it doesn't mean anything about your worth. And you have the power to shift this, even without closure, even without them, even when this feels impossible. You can say to yourself, this is my pain and I am now here and I'm here for myself and I can feel it and release it. I'm my own safe person. This doesn't have to stay true forever. This is more about my past than about my current pain. This is not just about my ex. They are just triggering this past wound. And this is also helping because just in thinking, hey, I need to get my ex back, or I wish you would have worked out, made you hyper obsess about your ex. But it's not just about your ex, it's much more deeper than this. And this is where your power starts and where you start empowering yourself again. Step number 6 is build micro moments of trust with your own body to break this addiction loop. So anxious attachment craves predictability, and your brain got used to getting hits of dopamine for them, and it gets it through these pings of a text or replies back. The roller coaster of maybe today they'll choose me. Without them, your system screams like, I'm not safe, I need this fix. So we crave new predictability because anxious attachment was built on not being predictable, right? If your parents were there sometimes and sometimes not, there was a lot of unpredictability. So you learn you have to be hyper vigilant to figure out, are they going to be there the next moment or not? So now you need to be creating predictability for yourself, a routine, tiny action of self-trust, like you're telling yourself you're okay, you've got yourself. So like you want to text them, but instead you brush your teeth maybe. Like literally just micro moments where you got yourself. You just do something every day in the same way. Or you just light a candle. Or you just journal through this instead of texting them. Or you just keep micro moments of promises to yourself. If you tell yourself you go for a walk at the same time each day, go for a walk at the same time each day. Even if it's just 2 minutes, even if it's just 5 minutes. Or create a morning ritual, even if it's just 3 minutes, that says, I'm here for myself, no matter what this morning ritual is. Again, put a hand on your heart and say every morning into the mirror or just on the couch, I'm here for myself. I'm allowed to miss them and I can still move forward. I can still move through this. They weren't my safe person. I am. If not them, then someone else. If not now, then another time. You're training your system to trust you, not this addictive loop. And 7, rebuild your identity outside of them, outside of their relationship, outside from your ex. Because it's not just a breakup. It's that your sense of self was wrapped in who you were with them, who you were becoming in that relationship. What part of you got lost? Ask yourself this. What's one thing you loved doing before them? Start reconnecting with this version of yourself. You are still here. You are not gone. because anxious attachment always loses sense of themselves in their relationships to others, because they pretend to be someone else somehow. They are really not, just to keep others close, just to not feeling rejected and abandoned. So they think by liking the same bands as the other person, or types of foods, and having no special needs or no emotions, and just to be easygoing, they keep them close and avoid being rejected and abandoned in the end. But in truth, you're just abandoning yourself and never really true creating deep intimacy with this person, because they don't really know who you are, and you don't even know yourself who you are and what you want after time passes, and you keep just, ignoring your own needs and true wants and wishes. So a part of it also means to expand your support system now. It's okay to lean on others while you're building your own emotional muscles. Perhaps before you just open to one person, to your ex, right? They were your main person who you came to with all of your problems after a day, who you just had the most amazing time with. But now it's time to spread it out, right? And reconnect with old friends or with your current friends, and connect with coaches or therapists. You can also do journaling and connect with yourself through other ways, through body practices, any way that makes you feel supported. One of my clients the other day shared me how much it was helpful during their phase after a breakup, just to have me as well as a support, to be able to text me or just leave me voice messages whenever they felt very low and alone. Because after a breakup, you feel like you don't have anyone. You feel like the person you only were able to rely on, who was always there, completely gone. So you completely feel alone. But you're not alone. This is just a story you told yourself. So you just need to be open to able to reach out for people who are there. So just expand your circle a little bit and be brave enough to ask for support, even if it's just to like a little coffee date, or even if it's just a text. And step number 8, be aware of the stages of a breakup. And that's very similar to the stages of grief. First, that you want to allow yourself to feel the grief, but grief is not the only emotion that comes up. So the stages are usually the following. There's the stages of denial, of anger, of bargaining, of depression, and then comes acceptance. And they're not always in the same order, but you want to become aware of what stage you are in, to allow yourself to be in the stage, but not to be in each stage for like months and even years. So the stages of denial can sound like, this can't be happening. You check their profile hoping for a sign and just keep being in this denial stage forever. Anger then might sound like, how could they leave me? You have this rage towards them, and maybe this rage will then turn towards yourself, and you blame yourself for lots of things that went wrong. Bargaining is like, what if I had just said this or showed up differently? You replay everything you could have done better as well, for example. And then the moment of depression might sink in afterwards. And you will just feel the weight of what will never be, and the future that just died with them. And then if you go through the stage, usually that's when the acceptance stage happens. So you're not in agreement, you're just realizing the truth. It is what it is, and you finally stop fighting it. And when you stop fighting it, you're able to allow the emotions to be there, and you can move through this with more ease and process the emotions. And this is when it gets better step by step, hour by hour, and day by day. The more you become aware of these stages, the more you can move through them and give yourself and your body what it actually truly needs. And I'm going to in much more depth in another episode, and really tools for each phase and what you can really do. Stage number 9 is practice rejection reframes. So the breakups hit deep when your brain tells one story on repeat, like, I wasn't enough, I'm not lovable, they were the only person. But in truth, it's based on the survival mode and not on truth. These are stories you're just telling yourself because you're in pain, and because somehow it tries to make sense of everything, and tries to protect you, right? So you want to flip the story into something that is a little bit more true. Ask yourself, What did I abandon in myself to maybe keep them? What red flags did I ignore just to feel chosen? What would a secure version of me never tolerate again? What did I actually gain now that I have space for more aligned love? What if this is the best thing that could have ever happened to me? Instead of maybe I lost my soulmate, I found a version of me who doesn't chase breadcrumbs anymore. Or instead of I'll never feel that again, I'm learning how to become my own safe person first. And that's how I create real love. Play around with thoughts that really feel true for you. Because if you only focus on negatives and bashing your self-worth, or you only reinforcing the painful loop and you are rejecting the reality basically. So here's a little exercise you can do, a little journal exercise. When your brain is stuck in this, they were the one, or I messed it all up, we need to disprove that limiting belief with cold, hard evidence. So for example, write out 10 reasons why this breakup might have been the best thing that could have happened to you. Or write down 10 flaws or incompatibilities you ignored in your ex. Or 10 reasons why I would have kept abandoning myself if we would have stayed together. This is very powerful. Or 10 signs we would have not been good for each other. Or I kept shrinking to chase them. And this is how you slowly detach from they were the only one for me, we were meant to be, and I can't let go, to slowly detaching, realizing, hey, we were never meant to be. Maybe there's a reason why we broke up, and I'm just trying to replay all the positive things that happened. Now you're realizing, hey, you know what, there's a reason why we're here, and you are rewiring your brain to see that. And the last one, step number 10, how you detach from your ex, is visualize your secure self. This is science and not just fluff. So visualization is extremely powerful. It's like rehearsing who you're going to be and the steps you're going to take next. It rewires your brain. So when you imagine yourself feeling grounded or regulated or finding love again, your brain starts building new neural pathways that map that reality. So try this daily. Close your eyes and see yourself waking up peacefully, grounded, feeling chosen and safe and loved. See yourself not checking your phone. See yourself smiling at your phone with a message from a secure, kind partner, or just being happily single as well. And not feeling anxious, not feeling you're not good enough, not chasing. See yourself walking away from breadcrumbs and walking towards a secure love. Hold that vision for yourself and repeat it over and over again, even when you're feeling low. Because with repetitions, you create new neural pathways. And when there's a right moment, when there's a secure partner around, and maybe your new person, you will be able to take the new right steps in that moment because you rehearsed these steps already. You are open for new possibilities. But if you don't rehearse these and you think you're not worthy of love, you're not lovable enough, you would never be open for these opportunities, and you will miss the person who's standing in line in the coffee shop. This is because your brain really needs a new future walk forward, or it will keep running back to the past pain. So let me know on YouTube which one of these tools and steps was helpful for you and which one sounds like something you want to try. And if you want monthly support from me, I'm super happy to connect with you. Again, email me or jump on a free call with me. I'm super happy to connect with you. And remember this, detachment doesn't mean forcing yourself to not care. It begins when the time is right, after you've actually felt what needed to be felt, after you've honored the pain and the ache and not really like shoved it down and ignored it. After you reclaimed your choice and not acted from panic. It's not about being over them or getting over them fast. It's about being with yourself in it without losing you again. And that's the shift that creates really self-trust over time. That's the version of you that really starts to rise again. And you're doing already so much better than you think. I'm so proud of you already. And thank you so much if you're still listening. And if you're listening on the audio podcast on Spotify or Apple or any other ones, please give me a 5-star rating. It means the world to me, and I'll see you in the next episode. Lots of love. Yula. Bye bye.